I think we can start now. Hello everyone. On behalf of the Finance Club IIT Patna, I welcome you all to the guest lecture series Fin Talks. This year, our guest lecture series has gone virtual and we are extremely honored to host with us Ms. Soni Saw. She is IMA alumnus and currently a product manager at Rupee with a rich experience of around 3 years in Prodman field. Today, she will share her experience related to the basics of product management field. The audience members can ask their questions through the comment section or they can raise their hands at the end where I'll ask them to unmute themselves one by one to ask their questions. Over to you, Sony.
Yeah, hey everyone. Thank you for joining this session. So this will be a round 1 hour session. I'll take you through a PPT where I'll discuss with you the basics of product management, and then we can take any questions and any doubts that you have regarding product management. It's a very basic session, so I'm assuming that the audience that is uh, like not very much aware or only has a basic knowledge of product management. So I'll cover from 0 to 1, and I'll talk about what is product management, what are the skills you need to develop in order to get into product management, and we'll also talk about how do you apply for companies and how do you build a CV that will help you to get into a product management role, right? Yeah, just give me a second. I think I'll have to present. Yeah. Just give me a minute. I'll have to uh, change the setting because I don't use Teams often. I use Google. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I hope I'm audible. I'll present my screen. I hope my PPT is audible, right?
Yes, the screen is visible and
That
voice is
the
also.
yeah, yeah, the voice is audible and the PPT is visible, right? So let me take you through this PPT. First of all, something about myself. I did my engineering in electronics and communication. Then I have worked as a software developer with TCS for a couple of years. Then I did my MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and then I've been working as a product manager for last 3 years. So right out of my campus placement, I was working as a product manager with a startup called eShakti. Then I've worked as a product manager with Airtel for around 6 months, and then I have been working with a startup called Rupeek that is into gold loans for last 10 months, right? So this is this has been my journey so far. Talking about the agenda of this particular PPT. We'll talk about four things majorly. We'll talk about what is product management. Then we'll talk about what is like fintech industry and what does Rupeek do. Then we'll also talk about how do you prepare for a PM role, and then we'll also talk about my experience as a PM, right? So first of all, whenever you search for product management, I'm very sure that you must have come across this particular diagram, that what does a product manager do. So as you can see, a product manager is someone who is at the intersection of these three areas. The three areas are basically user experience area, technology, and business. So as a product manager, you're supposed to be working in alignment with all the three areas. Now, when I talk about all the three areas, what I understand is that you can't be a pro or expert in all the three areas. And in general, every product manager has an inclination towards one or two particular area. Like, for example, for me, the area that I'm really inclined towards is user experience and the business side of it, right? But as a product management, I manager, I work closely with the technical teams also. So whenever you build a product, right, there are three parts to it. Let's take example of a product. Let's take example of a product. Let's take a good product. Let's talk about Uber. Uber is a good product according to me because it's a minimal product with minimal feature, and it has a great user experience. Now, what is Uber app? Uber app is built on a technology, right? It's an app that was built by a set of developers. It has number of features. It has features like where you can book the cab, you can cancel the booking, you can see that what is the ETA of the cab, and then there are payment mechanism, there is a customer feedback mechanism, and everything else. So that is the tech side of that particular product. The second part of that product is the business side, right? So whenever a company is building a product, there are certain business goals that the company wants to fulfill. So, for example, for Uber, what does the company business goals can be? First of all, it wants to maximize the number of Uber rides that the customers are doing. Uber does wants to earn money out of it, right? Profit. So every ride that you take, Uber is getting a share of that ride, right? So if your ride is, say, let's say 200 rupees, the share of Uber can be 25%. So 50 ride of 50 rupees of that particular ride. So the second goal can be to maximize the profit. The third goal can be to bring more and more drivers, right, to their platform. So as you know that there are a number of car services which are going now. Obviously, the private taxis and the yellow cabs were already existing before Uber and Ola came to this market. But as and when more and more competitors are entering this particular industry, Uber does want to have to increase its overall reach, right? And that's why they want to have more and more drivers, because the more and more drivers they'll have on their platform, they'll have more cars, and accordingly they'll be able to provide their services to more number of customers. So this is the business side of it. The third side that we want to talk about is the user experience side. Now, no matter what product you use, right, it can be Uber app, it can be Swiggy, it can be Amazon. The way user feels about using that app is very important, right? So when I talk about user experience, there are multiple aspects of user experience that we talk about. As a person, right, as a person, what is your technical skill, right? So and depending on the user, how user friendly product that you are building is one of the most important aspect of user experience. The second aspect of user experience is how smooth the app, the product, the website is to use. And the third and most important aspect of user experience is how many failures are happening, right? So every time you want to go and book an Uber cab and you're not able to book, is the direct failure rate of that app. Similarly, every time you make a payment on Amazon to book an order and the payment fails, is the failure of that particular payment gateway. So user experience consists of three parts. One is tech savviness, right? How tech savvy your product is. The second part is how smooth or easy or user friendly your product is, and the third part is what is the failure rate of that product, right? Because that will determine the easiness and the friendliness of your product. So, for example, let's talk about one common product that comes to my mind currently. Google Pay, right? I think most of you have already used Google Pay and Phone Pay at some point of time. So what I noticed for Google Pay in last 5 6 months was that the number of transaction failures were very very high, very high. So every time you were making a payment out of Google Pay, every third time it was failing. So out of three times, one time my payment was getting failed, and it's a very bad user experience. And if you guys actually follow some technology news, then you must have heard that a lot of people actually moved or shifted from Google Pay to Phone Pay just because of this particular reason, that the number of failures, failures were really high. So user experience is all about smoothness and the user friendliness of the product. So as a product manager, you are sitting at the center of it, and you're supposed to take care of all the three areas: the user experience, the business side of it, and you obviously you'll have to get that product built from your developer, right? Your engineering team. So you need to understand technology to some level to in order to talk to the engineers. One question that I frequently get from people is that, do I need to be from CSIT background, or do I need to know coding in order to become product manager? My answer is no. You don't need to be a pro in coding, or you don't need to be from CSIT background, but you definitely need to know the basics of technical skills, right? As a product manager, most of the time you will be getting your product built by your technical team, right? You'll have your technical team with you where they'll have developers, testers, and everyone. So as a product manager, you're expected to uh, tell or express your requirement to them, right? And for that requirement exchange to happen, you need to know the basic understanding of technology. So keeping that in mind, that basic understanding of technology is very important for you in order to become a good product manager. So you don't need to code, you don't need to be from any particular background, but you definitely need to know basic terminologies like database, APIs, how does API work, what is GET, what is call, what is the kind of effort engineer is quoting to you, is it reasonable or not? So that is the minimum understanding you need to have. In the business side, again, every business is very different. The way Amazon operates versus the way Big Basket operates are very, very different. So, depending on the business requirement and depending on the business that you're handling, the way you'll think about business and business goals will vary a lot, and accordingly, you will take a decision as a product manager. Now, talking about my experience as a product manager, one thing I can tell you for sure is that a product manager is a very subjective role. If you talk to five product managers from five different companies, and if you ask them what do they do as a product manager, all five of them will be giving you a very different, drastically different answers, because that is how product management is, right? So if a product manager, let's take a product manager from Razorpay company, payment gateway company like Razorpay, versus let's take a product manager from a customer experience company like Swiggy. The experience, the way they work will be very, very different. So it's a very subjective thing, and there is no right answer for what a product manager should be doing. But what my understanding is that the product management is all about solving the problems, right? So that is what you should be looking for. The second part is, as a product manager for last 3 years, I have solved all real life problems. So whatever I have solved, I have seen the results in front of me, right? So there's no client. In general, I've worked in code product companies, so there was no client as such, or there was no consulting as such. So I was taking a real life problem. I was working on that real life problem. I was solving that problem, and then I was building a product for it. So as a product manager, you are able to see that impact or the product, the problem getting solved in front of you. The third important point is, as a product manager, you are at the center of that organization. Every other company is now moving into a product driven approach, right? Because that is where the world is moving. So as a product manager, you'll get to work with like all the teams, most of the team. I have worked with the technical team, obviously. I've worked with marketing team, I've worked with growth team, I've worked with legal team, I've worked with finance team. So as a product manager, you will get to work with all the teams, most of the teams in your company, and you will get to learn a lot in that sense. And the fourth and most important point is, you will see the direct business impact happening. If you are working on a product as a product manager, the impact that you will see is very, very direct, and you will be able to quantify that impact overall, right? For let's say, for example, uh, let's talk about the wish cart or the ad cart option that you have in Amazon, right? So earlier it was not there. It was built maybe a few years back. So there must have been a product manager who built this feature where you are able to add a product or a list of products in the ad cart. Now, what is the business impact that was would have been happening, right, after this feature was launched? My understanding is that when the product manager was building this product, what he must have thought was that in case I look at a product in Amazon and I don't buy it immediately, and most of us don't buy it immediately, right? We take some time, we do some research online, offline, other sites, and then only we decide on buying a product. So in that case, getting back to the same product, right? I want to buy a vacuum cleaner, and I saw like three, four of them, and I liked one of them. But again, after one day or next day, if I'm coming to that particular site and I want to buy the vacuum cleaner, but finding that vacuum cleaner would be very, very difficult. So in that case, add cart will help me to add that vacuum cleaner in my cart and keep it for a day or so, right? Till I want to buy it. And that will ultimately, what will that business impact be? The business impact will be basically increase in the number of orders or increase in the revenue per customer, right? So this is the kind of business goals that product managers generally have in terms of building any particular feature or product. And as you can see, when you're working as a product manager, you'll see that direct business impact and the numbers happening in front of you. So the impact for the ad cart feature in Amazon could have been that they wanted the ad cart to let's say increase the number of orders by 20% in 6 months or 30% in 8 months. It could be very subjective depending on the company business goals and everything, but as a product manager you are able to see that impact happening in front of your eyes. One question that I get asked a lot, because I've worked both in startup and larger firms, is what is the difference of working in a startup versus a larger firm? I have worked earlier. First company was eShakti, which was a very small startup. Then I worked with iAirtel, which is a pretty big organization, and finally I moved into another startup, which is not as small as eShakti, but it's a startup. It's still in a growing stage. So my first difference that I can see very visibly was is that in case of startup, right, things are not organized. Things are very unorganized and unstructured. So when you enter as a product manager in a startup, most of the time you'll have to take the initiatives and you'll have to start trying structuring all lot of things. So this is the first part of it. Versus in case of larger firms, since the firms are into business for a longer period of time, and a lot of structures and a lot of hierarchy has already been established. So generally the larger firms are organized as compared to smaller firms. The second thing that you can see in a startup versus larger firm is that the hierarchy, right? In startups in general, the hierarchies don't exist, right? The startups are very small, right? The number of people are very limited, and there is a cash crunch or the shortage of cash that is also going, right? So they don't cannot afford extra wagons at all. So in that case, they keep resources and they want to get that work done at in the minimal possible way, right? So in that case, the hierarchy is not there. But in case of larger firms, because they have been into business for a longer period of time and the number of employees is huge, you will generally see a hierarchy happening over there. The third important difference is higher impact versus incremental impact. In case of startups, since you are the one person as a product manager owning a lot of things, and only most of the time only person owning a particular product, the kind of products that you will develop will directly impact the business. So the impact that you see in the business will be much high. Versus in case of a larger firm, what happens is, in case one product, right, you might be the owner of one product, or you that product might be co-owned by 3 4 product managers also. Also, there is a lot of approval and hierarchy that is there in the larger firm. So even for a small decision, a lot of people might be needed to be aligned to, right, to get that product up and live. So in that case, the impact that you see is very incremental, right? The fourth important point is ownership versus power tussle. This is my personal experience. In case of startup, you are generally the owner of your product because you are the only one managing it, right? But in case of larger companies, what happens, since 3 4 people are competing for the same product, there is a power tussle on a or a politics kind of things that is going on. So that is my call of startup versus larger firm. Again, when I talk about this has been my personal experience so far in 3 years, but people might have different experiences in case in scenario of a startup versus larger firm. You should talk to more people once you decide to join any organization. Once you decide to apply for any organization, please talk to more and more people from that organization. They'll give you a clear idea about how that particular organization and how that particular team operates. Yeah. Now, what is a PM role in fintech industry? We'll talk about what is fintech. We'll talk about skills required in a fintech firm, and we'll also talk about type of fintech firm and future of fintech firm. Now, my understanding is fintech is basically the growing industry. So, finance is moving into a technical curve where all the financial solution that were existing earlier in manual mode or offline mode is getting automated, and it's all becoming basically technology driven, right? So earlier you had to go to a bank, and then you had to go at least 2 to 3 days to open your bank account, right? Whether it's HDFC account or Axis account. Now you go to the bank, they'll take 3 or 4 documents from you. They'll give you a form where you'll have to sign. They'll give you a kit, and you're done. That's the way the banks are operating now, right? The finance industry is operating now. Similarly, earlier cash was a big thing, right? Every time you used to go, we used to carry our credit card, cash, debit card. Now you just take your phone, you scan the barcode, and you're able to pay at 90% of the outlets, even in tier 3 countries, right? So fintech is something where the technology is merging with the finance solution, and we are coming up with a lot of innovative solutions. Skills required in fintech industry, it's a tricky thing. I'll talk about the skills going forward required for the product manager, and fintech is basically a subset of whatever skills will be required as a product manager. But one thing that you want to understand when you want to move to a fintech industry is, please do a thorough research about the fintech industry itself, right? It's a very fragmented industry, right? What Paytm is doing versus what Razorpay is doing versus what Rupeek is doing is a very different thing. So whenever you apply for a particular company, please understand that what the business model is, what the cons are, what the pros are, what is the scope of that particular company, and accordingly you will be able to crack the interview. Type of fintech firms, again, it varies a lot. Talking about, there are payment gateways, there are payment solutions, there is now talking about Rupeek, you have gold loan solutions, you have credit card companies like Amex. So type of fintech firms is just growing about every day, and it will keep growing with more and more innovative solutions and more innovative companies coming into picture. According to me, whatever reports I have read in past few months, and whatever scenario I have seen in fintech in the firm, the future of fintech firm looks very good, right? It's a growing industry, and with an economy like India, the capture or the potential is really huge. The tier 3, tier 4 cities have not been touched at so many levels, and also even with tier 1 to tier 2 cities, where there are already a number of solutions and payment gateways and everything existing, still the scope is very huge, right? There is a very high untapped potential that can be worked upon, and the industry is basically bound to grow in coming future also, right? Now let's come straight to the critical skills that you need to be a good PM. According to me, product management is all about solving problems, right? As a product manager, if you ask me what do I do, I solve problem. It can be an online problem, it can be an offline problem, it can be an online solution, it can be offline solution, right? Water bottle is a product. Google Pay is a product. Your railway ticket counter is a product. Everything is a product. As a product manager, what I do is, I take a customer problem or a user problem, I break that problem, I go really deep into it, and then I understand that problem, that what are the different aspects of problem, how can we solve it and everything. And once I understand the problem, I'm able to come up with 3 4 solutions. And once I come up with this 3 4 solutions, then I'll, as a product manager, my call would be, or my prime responsibility would be to understand and give the best solution, right? There are 4 5 ways of doing it, but what is the best way of doing is what a product manager decides. So problem solving is one skill you all need to work on. There are different ways to learn problem solving. Case study is definitely one way. If you go and search case study on Google, you will find like 100 of sites. You can go through those cases. There are good YouTube channels where you can practice product management cases. You can also try problem solving using your friends, right? So you guys can practice a lot of cases on your own, and then you can form groups of 3 or 4 people and then make each other practice cases. So that will really help you in your product management placements. The second important skill that you need to have as a product management is a manager is empathy. As a product manager, every time you're building product for someone else, right? You're not building that product for you. So let's say if you have to build a product for me versus if you have to build a product for my mom, the requirements will be 100% different, because the kind of knowledge, the kind of tech savviness that I have versus what my mom will have will be very different. So understanding the empathizing yourself with the user, putting yourself in the user's shoes and understanding that what my skill sets are, what my problem is, what are my pain points, then only you will be able to come up with a solution that will solve my real needs. So empathy is another skill that you need to work on as a product manager. The third important skill that you'll have to work on is prioritization. As a product manager, you will be doing 20 things. You will have 50 things on your plate, but every single time you'll have to decide that, okay, I have this 30 things to do, but I can do only 3 things today. So what are the 3 things I'm going to do? So prioritization is all about ranking your list of to-do list and then saying that, okay, these are the top 3 things I'll do, and I'll eliminate everything else. So prioritization is very, very important. Not only in terms of product management, I feel prioritization in this today's time, right, with the busy schedule that we have and with hundred of things that we have to do, prioritization anyways becomes a very inevitable skill to not have, right? So you need to prioritize, and you need to prioritize very correctly in order to use your time effectively. So prioritization is something you should start working on and you should start learning. The fourth and most important skill according to me as a product manager is interpersonal skill. You'll be talking to at least 10 to 15 days a person people every day. As a product manager, you are sitting at the center of the organization, so you'll have to talk with the tech team, you'll have to talk with the business team, you'll have to talk with the marketing team, and whatnot, right? So interpersonal skills, where you're able to develop that relationship skills with people, where you are able to convince them, right? You can't do everything, and people will come up to you with requirement that I want to get this done, I want to get that done. Understanding the requirement, uh, analyzing the importance of the requirement, and then ability to say no, right, and convince them that, okay, you know what, your requirement is very important, but I won't be able to pick it for next 1 week or 1 month. That is something you'll have to learn doing. So interpersonal skills in that case becomes very important, where you're able to develop a working relationship. You're able to convince people about why you can do something and why you can't do something, and also about your decisions, right? Every time you decide, you'll have to make everyone agree to it. So getting that buy-in becomes very important. So in that case, interpersonal skills is very important. Now, one question that when thing that people don't understand often and people don't realize is culture. Most of the time, people come to me, people ask me that what is product management skills, how do I learn everything, but they never talk about the culture. But believe me, once like most of you are starting in college now, right, and you will be into your jobs maybe next 1 year or so. Uh, Culture, not only as a product manager, but as any person, right, becomes very, very important. Being in a good culture and being with good people becomes very important for your professional as well as personal growth. So be careful with the kind of organization you join, and please, please do a lot of research about the organization and the people that you will be working with. Now, talking in particular about culture, importance of culture in a PM role, I believe that product management role is a very independent role, right? Generally, people are not reporting to you. Generally, you are not reporting to anyone. You'll have a manager, but he won't be responsible for what you're doing, right? So in that case, I feel that ownership becomes very important, because you are the one who is owning everything. There'll be people in your team, there'll be a manager who will be who you can go to, but ultimately the products, the features that you will build will be all your own. So ownership becomes very important. The second important part of the culture is stakeholder management. As I told you, in any organization, if you work as a product manager, you will have hundred of stakeholders, hundred of people you have to work with. So in that case, how do you manage them? How do you treat them? What is the kind of relationship you build with them becomes very important. That's why stakeholder management is very important. The third point is outcome driven. As a product manager, you are doing something, anything, right? You are building an app, you are launching a feature, you have a business goal in mind. That okay, I'll build this feature. This will increase my profitability by 20%. I am launching this product. This will increase my revenue by 15%. So outcome driven, and when you do that as a product manager, people need to support you around you. So outcome driven is another important part aspect of the culture, and obviously bias for action. Every time you do something, nobody is going to come and push you most of the time as a product manager, right? You'll have to find a problem, you'll have to solve it, and then you'll also have to get that implemented or executed. So bias for action becomes very important in any culture when you want to work in a good culture as a product manager, right? Now coming to the important point, how do you prepare for a PM role? There are four parts of preparing for a PM role. First part is resume or CV, whatever you call it. I feel that a lot of people come to me and ask me that do I need to have a prior experience as a product manager? See, the answer is no. But it's a good thing to have, right? If you have a prior internship, or if you have a prior experience in PM role, it becomes easier for you to break through into a PM role. But in case you don't have an experience, what you can do is you can do a couple of things. First of all, you can do few online courses and you can add it to your CV. That will give a lot of visibility to the recruiter that this guy or this girl is really interested in the PM role. The second thing you can do is you might look for a PM internship for 1-2 months, right? So that will help you understand the basics of a product manager role, and that will also add some weightage to your CV. So there's two things you can do: online courses, some PM internship. What else you can do in your resumes? Please see, PM roles are all about solving the problem, right? It's all about problem solving. So as a product manager, what you can do is you can write wherever you have solved any problem, right? As a student, as a class representative, as a part of any club, include that in your CV. That will really help you help the recruiter gauge your interest in PM role, because he can see clearly your approach of that how did you approach solving a problem. Also, 2-3 important things in resumes. One is, please don't write stories. Please write one-liners. Use bullet points. Write one-liners. The second point is, please don't use fancy fonts. Use basic fonts like Time New Romans, Arial Black, Arial whatever suits you. Don't use anything fancy. The third thing is, don't overload your CV with bolds, right? What I see is like half of your CV is bold, half of your CV is italic, half of your CV is normal. Don't do that. If you really find a point to be like very important for the recruiter to notice, bold only those much of point, but don't try to bold like 70% of your CV. And fourth and most important point, please check for any grammatical error. A grammatical error in your CV does not look good. So please be very cautious about any grammatical error that you make in your CV. So that's it from a resume side. Applying for PM roles, I think most of you will be going for campus placements anytime soon. And in case you are not finding suitable role in campus placement, please be active on Naukri.com, be active on LinkedIn. Uh, just ping HRs and product managers directly, especially from startups, that you're looking for a PM role and if they have any roles. Uh, 10 out of, I think 5 or 6 people out of 10 won't reply, but even if 3-4 people are replying, that should be sufficient for you to get into a land into a PM role. So start applying actively, especially through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is looking for a lot of talent for product manager roles. So just start applying and be active about your campus placements. Also, be sure that you are prepared in case you are getting an interview. Please be prepared for the interview. Please do your CV correctly and just go and crack the interview. Now, preparing for PM roles, I'll take you through the important resources according to me. There are books on product management that you should be reading. You can read Decode and Conquer. You can read Design of Everyday Things. You can read Product Primer. So there are good books on product management. If you read 3 to 4 books, you're good to go. Now, talking about online courses, a lot of people come up with me about very expensive product management courses. I'll say that's not required. if in case you just want to understand what product management is from end to end, you can pick up a course from Udemy, which will cost you around 800, 900 bucks. And that will give you a complete overview of what happens in product management. And that should be sufficient for you to go. You can also try few courses on Coursera. In Coursera, the courses are free until and unless you ask for a certificate, right? So you can go, you can open, there are 2, 3 good courses. There is one good course called Digital Product Management by University of Virginia. You can try that. There are other product management courses also. So you can try that and you'll be good to go. There are good YouTube channels on product management. Whenever you go to YouTube, search for product management. There is a channel called Exponent. There is a channel called Product Folks. There is a channel by I Am Lucknow, which gives you a practice of cases. Go search there and watch lot and lot of videos, right? Once you see a lot of other people giving interviews, mock interviews, and practicing in front of you, you'll get into the flow, right? And practice more and more. Take your roommate, take your classmate, and just you two sit for 1 hour, half hour, do a case, and then you can give feedback to each other. So that is how it will work. And the fourth and most important point is there are very good blogs of product management that will give you a very comprehensive idea about 0 to 1 of the product management, right? Mind the product is a good product blog. The product folks is a good product blog. So you can go through them and you can make it a habit of going through a product blog, let's say 15, 20 minutes every day. So that should be good for you to do, right? Now talking about the fourth important aspect is cracking interviews. In general, I'll tell you what product management, there are 3 things that they test. First of all, what they test is your problem solving skills, right? So the way you approach a problem becomes very important in any product management. So whenever you are given a case or whenever you are given a question, the way you approach that question and the way you break that problem and take that one by one step, right? That becomes very important. So have a very structured approach. I know a lot of people of you haven't done any case as of now and have no idea. But the more and more you practice, and you'll have to start at some point of time, so why not now? And the more and more you practice, the better you'll get. The second point about interview is that whatever you write in your CV, please be 100% sure about it. You can't lie in your CV. And in case you are lying in your CV saying that I built ISRO, please be sure that you know A to Z of ISRO. So whatever you write in your CV, each and every point should be like totally in your brain and you should be able to justify and explain everything. So that becomes very, very important. Your CV, whatever you write becomes very critical. And the third point, about a product manager role is culture fit. So every company has a different culture, right? Some companies are, some organizations are people friendly, some organizations are into aggressive culture, some organizations are into customer experience culture. So before you apply to any company or before you go for an interview, do a thorough research on the culture of that company, and then you can answer accordingly, and you will be able to clear the culture fit round. That is how it will go, right? So that's it from my side on product management. In case you have any questions, I'm happy to take it.
Thank you, Sony, for your talk. Now we have prepared some questions after which audience members can also ask their questions by raising their hands. So,
Yeah.
how to improve stakeholder management skills?
There are 2 things to it, right? When we talk about stakeholder management, first of all, you have to understand that stakeholder a lot, right? So the way you deal with a stakeholder from finance department versus the way you deal with a stakeholder from growth department will be different. So understanding your stakeholder, their requirement becomes very, very important. And the second part is you have to be a good listener, right? So the more the good listener you become and you are able to capture what they are speaking, you will be responding better, right? So there are, you ask me that do you want to do this session? I can say no, right? But how do I say no will vary a lot. So that is about the stakeholder management, that you understand them really well. And the second way is you talk to them, right? You listen to them and then you respond to them accordingly. So this 2 skills is something that will develop over a period of time, but you'll have to become a good listener. There is no other way out. No matter whether you become a product manager or you go into any other profession, good listener, becoming good listener is non-negotiable.
How to improve creativity or design skills, since people from engineering colleges usually lack those skills and focus more on problem solving or tech skills.
Yeah, I'll say that creativity skill is not something that you can develop. Everybody is creative in some way or the other, right? You can do, there are good Google design courses on Coursera. I have done one myself last month. There's a UX design course on Coursera. You can try that. There are good design blogs, right? So more and more you read, the better you become. There is no other way out, because I am also an engineer, right? So I had no idea about design. I had no idea about user experience. The way I developed it was over a period of time. I watched a lot of videos and I did a lot of reading about it. Also, one book, if you are into creativity, or if you are someone who is looking to improve creativity, please go through a book called The Design of Everyday Things. It is one of the best product management books I have gone through. It's a very small book, but it's a very, very nice book. Please go through it. In case you're not willing to buy it because it's like 600, 700 bucks, you can find a copy easily on internet also, right? To download a PDF and just go through it. It will really help you improve the creativity skills.
Which tech tools are frequently used while working as a manager?
Yeah, it's a subjective question. It will vary a lot that with which tech skills you're using, because it will depend on company to company. Talking about Rupeek, the tech tools that I use on a daily basis is Jira. Jira is where every backlog is maintained. The sprints, right? The sprints that we run with engineers happen through Jira. We write the product PRDs and everything through Jira. So Jira is one tool that we use frequently. Rupeek has a culture of OKRs, right? Objective and key result wala funda. So we use the OKR tool very frequently. I am working on some SaaS tools also, customized SaaS tools specific for Rupeek. So I use that. As a product manager, you need to learn one design tool for sure, right? It can be Blazamic, it can be Figma, but you'll have to choose one tool and you'll have to learn it. You can choose what tool you want to do, but Figma is one of the best tools that you can learn as a product manager, because though you will have a design team and a UX team which will be building designs for you, but you will have to at times sketch the basics of it. So learning Figma or Sketch or InVision becomes important.
What skills in our resume can distinguish our profile, like can be referred to as spikes while applying for product management internships?
Yeah, so for product management internship, believe me, there should not be any core skill required, because that's why it's an internship, right? If you knew everything about product management, then why will you require internship? But doing few online courses from Udemy will help you. Having some knowledge of programming language can give you edge in case of technical product management role. You can learn maybe R, Python, or something like that. You can learn UX tools like Blazamic, InVision, Sketch, Figma. And talking about courses, you can do one course from Udemy, that should be sufficient. Like 1,000 rupees is more than sufficient. You can also talk about any product life courses or any life product if you have done in your college itself. You should write it down and highlight it.
How one can choose between management consulting and product management field, since they have some overlap, especially the problem solving or the case solving part?
Yeah, it's a very good question, though I won't be the right person to answer it, because I am not a like I haven't experienced both side of the story, as in terms of management consulting. But what I understand after talking to my friend is, first of all, in case of management consulting, you will generally be serving clients, right? So there'll be an external pressure on that, where you'll be serving clients. Products generally you build for your own company, so I guess the work-life balance will be better in case of product versus management consulting. The second thing is, whatever product you build, right, you are able to see that impact happening in front of you, because the execution part is also done by you, right? You get that product built in front of you. But in case of management consulting, you will generally be consulting someone, and you'll give them a set of final recommendations, right? But was it implemented? How was it implemented? Is something you might not be aware about. This is second part, and the third part is traveling wise. Again, it's a personal choice. But in case of product management, the traveling which will be much lesser as compared to in case of management consulting. So these are the 3 points I can think of as now. Role wise also, you serving a client versus you doing something of your own varies. Also in terms of management consulting, the frameworks are different from the frameworks or the way a product manager operates, right? Because product manager is someone who is at the center of the organization and who has to deal with a lot of stakeholders. So he'll have to maintain a Jira with the technical team. He'll have to maintain a PRD for the business team. But in case of management consulting, you are generally taking one project at a time, and there is a limited set of stakeholders at any point of time for you. So that's the basic difference. Again, it will vary on the interest of a person, and there's no good or bad about it. It totally depends on your career choices and the kind of professional life you want to have.
Does doing an MBA helps during the product management role?
Yeah, again, this answer would be very subjective. See, doing an MBA will help to some extent in product management career. But if you ask me that is MBA mandatory to become a product manager, my answer would be no. No, it's not mandatory to become a product manager. If you see Flipkart folks, if you see Amazon folks, most of them, Swiggy folks, right? Most of them are just bachelors, right? BTechs and BComs and whatnot. So you don't need to do an MBA to become a good product manager or a nice product manager. But MBA does help at some stage because you will be getting a lot of companies coming directly for placement in case of MBA after you do an MBA from IIM or FMS.
How to improve structural thinking approach?
The best way of improving structural thinking approach is to solve more and more cases. That's the only way, right? You do books on your own first, read a lot of answers, watch a lot of YouTube videos where people are solving cases, and then more and more you practice, the more structured your approach becomes. It's not a one-day thing. It will take you a couple of months to reach to that structured approach. And believe me, even I am improving today, right? So it's not like there is an end point and there is a start point. You start anywhere and then you keep on improving. So doing more and more cases and reading more and more articles related to it will help you.
If anyone else has any questions, they can raise their hands and can unmute themselves and ask.
Yeah, I think we are good to go. I hope this session was helpful, right? Uh, I hope the session was helpful. Two things: please don't be scared of placements. Placements will happen. People will get placed at different point of time. So let it be. Let your time come. Just chill. Put your hard work, right? And if you're someone who's serious about product management role, go for it, right? Please practice a lot of cases. Please read about product management and please be prepared, because it's not about getting a shortlist. It's ultimately about converting that shortlist. So focus on converting that shortlist, and that will happen only when you prepare for the product management role, right? Yeah, I think that's it from my side. I am on LinkedIn. In case if you have any other queries or questions, you can ping me there. I generally reply without. So I was traveling for last, I think, couple of weeks. I was out of India, so I think there was a lag of reply. Like there was a lag in the time I was taking to reply. But hopefully, in case you have any other queries and questions, feel free to ping me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help you. All the best, everyone. Thank you, Madhur. Thank you, Madhur, for inviting me. It was a good session.
Thank you, Soni, for coming to our session. So overall, on behalf of the entire team of Finance Club IIT Patna, I would like to thank Ms. Soni So for such a truly insightful session. I am certain that each and every person in the audience took something very valuable from the session. I would also like to thank the audience for being so patient and enthusiastic during the entire session. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.